The high school hallway smelled of cheap perfume and desperation, a suffocating reminder of the prison Emma Carter called her teenage years. At 16 she stood frozen, her heart pounding as whispers sliced through the air like knives. "Dyke," they hissed, the word scrawled in red marker across her locker, branding her for all to see. Emma's fingers trembled as she clutched her backpack, her auburn hair falling over her face like a shield. She was a quiet girl, bookish, with dreams bigger than the small Ohio town that seemed determined to crush her. She loved poetry, the way words could weave worlds where she felt safe, but here, in the fluorescent-lit corridors of Lincoln High, there was no safety. The bullying had started months ago, after she'd been caught staring too long at a girl in gym class. Her name was Sarah, a fleeting crush who'd never know how Emma's heart raced at the sight of her smile. But someone noticed. Someone always noticed. The ringleader was Lily Monroe, a 17-year-old cheerleader with a sharp tongue and sharper ambition. Lily was everything Emma wasn't: popular, confident, untouchable. Her jet black hair and piercing brown eyes commanded attention, and she wielded her social power like a weapon. To Lily, Emma was an easy target, a girl who didn't fit, whose quiet defiance of the town's unspoken rules made her a threat. "You're disgusting," Lily had spat one day, her voice loud enough for the crowd to laugh, their jeers echoing in Emma's ears long after she'd fled to the bathroom to cry. Every day brought new torment. Notes slipped into her bag, mocking her clothes, her walk, her very existence. Her locker was defaced weekly, the slurs growing bolder. Emma's grades slipped as she stopped raising her hand, stopped speaking, stopped being. Her parents, kind but oblivious, chalked it up to teenage moodiness. They didn't see the bruises on her soul, the way each insult carved away at her dreams. By senior year, Emma was a ghost, haunting the edges of her own life, counting the days until graduation could set her free. But freedom came at a cost. The night of the senior prom, Emma stood outside the gymnasium, her breath visible in the cool spring air. She hadn't planned to gowie, would she? But a small, stubborn part of her wanted to prove she could exist in their world, even for one night. She wore a simple blue dress, her mother's old necklace glinting at her throat. Inside, the music pulsed, but so did the fear. She stepped through the doors and the room seemed to pause. Eyes turned, whispers grew. Lily stood at the center of it all, radiant in a silver gown, her smile ablaze. "Nice try, freak," Lily called, her voice cutting through the chatter. The crowd parted, and Emma felt the weight of 100 stares. Someone laughed. Someone else threw a crumpled cup. Emma's cheeks burned, her vision blurring as she turned and ran, the laughter chasing her into the night. She didn't stop until she reached the park, collapsing on a bench, sobbing until her chest ached. That night, she vowed to leave and never look back. After graduation, Emma fled to Chicago, a city big enough to swallow her past. She worked odd jobs, waitressing, tutoring, anything to afford community college. Her heart still carried the scars, but she poured herself into her studies, majoring in marketing with a ferocity born of survival. She wrote poetry in secret, words that bled with pain and hope, her way of reclaiming her voice. By 25, she'd landed a job at a small advertising firm, her talent for crafting campaigns earning her quiet respect. She kept to herself, wary of trust, but the city's pulse gave her room to breathe, to heal. Yet the past wasn't done with her. One gray morning, Emma walked into a meeting at her firm, her notes clutched tightly, only to freeze at the sight of a familiar face. Lily Monroe sat across the table, older but unmistakable, her black hair now cropped into a sleek pixie cut, her eyes still sharp. She was a rising star at a rival agency, here to pitch a joint campaign for a major client. Emma's stomach twisted, the old wounds reopening. Lily's smile faltered for a fraction of a second, a flicker of recognition, but she said nothing. Neither did Emma. The meeting was torture. Emma forced herself to focus, her voice steady as she presented her ideas, but every glance at Lily felt like stepping back into that high school hallway. When it was over, Lily approached her, her expression unreadable. "Emma Carter, right?" she said, her voice softer than Emma remembered. "It's been a while." Emma nodded, her throat tight. "Yeah, a while." She wanted to scream, to demand why, to unleash years of pent-up pain. Instead, she turned and left, her heart racing. That night, she sat in her tiny apartment, staring at the city lights, wondering how fate could be so cruel. She didn't know then that this was only the beginning, that Lily Monroe would soon become more than a ghost from her past. Over the next weeks, their firms were forced to collaborate, the client demanding a unified campaign. Emma and Lily were paired as leads, their shared history a silent storm between them. Meetings were tense, their interactions polite but strained. Emma noticed changes in Lily. Her confidence was tempered, her words careful, almost regretful. But Emma wasn't ready to forgive. Not yet. One evening, working late in a glass-walled office, Lily broke the silence. "I owe you an apology," she said, her voice low. Emma froze, her pen hovering over her notebook. "What I did to you? It was wrong. I was a kid, but that's no excuse." Her eyes met Emma's, raw with something that looked like shame. Emma wanted to believe her, but the pain was too deep. "You ruined my life," she said, her voice shaking. "Do you know what that felt like? To be nothing." Lily didn't look away, and for the first time, Emma saw cracks in her arm or a flicker of vulnerability that hadn't existed in high school. "I know I can't undo it," Lily said. "But I want to try. To make it right." Emma didn't respond, but something shifted. A tiny fracture in the wall she'd built around her heart. The Chicago skyline glittered outside the office window, but inside, the air was thick with unspoken history. Emma sat across from Lily, their laptops open, the hum of the city a distant pulse. They were alone, the rest of the team gone for the night, working on a campaign that could make or break their careers. Emma's fingers hovered over her keyboard, her mind caught between the deadline and Lily's apology from days before. It lingered like a bruise, tender and impossible to ignore. Lily leaned back in her chair, rubbing her temples. "This slogan isn't working," she said, her voice breaking the silence. "It's too safe. We need something that feels alive." Her eyes flicked to Emma, searching, and for a moment, Emma felt exposed, as if Lily could see the poetry she still wrote in secret, the words that held her heart. Emma nodded, forcing her focus back to the screen. "Let's try something bolder," she suggested, her voice steady despite the storm inside. They brainstormed, tossing ideas back and forth, and for the first time, Emma glimpsed the person behind Lily's polished exterior. She was sharp, creative, her mind a whirlwind of ideas that matched Emma's own. It was disorienting, this glimpse of someone she'd hated for so long. As the weeks passed, their collaboration deepened. They spent late nights in the office, surrounded by coffee cups and crumpled notes, their shared goal forging an uneasy truce. Emma noticed small things about Lily, the way she chewed her pen when stuck, the way her laugh softened when she was tired. It humanized her, and that scared Emma more than anything. She wasn't ready to let go of her anger, not when it had been her armor for so long. One night, a storm rolled over Chicago, rain lashing the windows as they worked. The power flickered, plunging the office into darkness for a moment before the backup lights hummed to life. Lily laughed, a nervous edge to it. "Feels like the universe is trying to tell us something," she said, her voice barely audible over the thunder. Emma didn't respond, her eyes fixed on the rain. She wanted to ask why Lily had targeted her all those years ago, why she'd made her life a living hell. The question burned, but she swallowed it, afraid of the answer. Instead, she said, "We're behind. We need to finish this section tonight." Lily nodded, but her gaze lingered. "Emma, I meant what I said. About being sorry. I know it doesn't fix anything, but..." She trailed off, her fingers twisting a paperclip into a spiral. "I was scared back then. Scared of who I was." Emma's breath caught. She looked at Lily, really looked at her, and saw something she hadn't expected: fear, mirrored in those brown eyes. It was a crack in the narrative Emma had clung to. The story of Lily as the untouchable villain. "What do you mean?" Emma asked, her voice barely a whisper. Lily hesitated, then spoke, her words slow, deliberate. "I was figuring myself out in high school. I liked girls, but I couldn't admit it. Not to myself, not to anyone. You were. Open in your own way. Quiet but unashamed. I envied that. And I hated you for it." The confession hung between them, heavy as the rain outside. Emma's heart pounded, a mix of anger and something else, something softer, more dangerous. She wanted to lash out, to tell Lily how her cruelty had shattered her confidence, her trust. But the vulnerability in Lily's voice stopped her. For the first time, Emma saw her not as a bully, but as a girl who'd been trapped in her own cage. "I don't know what to say," Emma admitted, her voice raw. "You hurt me. More than you'll ever know." "I know," Lily said, her eyes glistening. "And I'll carry that forever." They worked in silence after that, the storm outside mirroring the one within Emma. She didn't forgive Lily, not yet, but the confession planted a seed, one she wasn't sure she wanted to grow. Over the next months, their partnership grew stronger, their campaign taking shape with a brilliance that surprised them both. They were a good team, their ideas sparking off each other. But every smile, every shared laugh, felt like a betrayal of Emma's younger self. One evening at a client dinner, Lily raised a glass to toast their progress. Her eyes met Emma's, and there was something new in them, warmth maybe, or hope. Emma clinked her glass, her heart a tangle of emotions she couldn't name. She told herself it was just business, just professionalism, but late at night, when she lay awake in her apartment, she couldn't stop thinking about Lily's laugh, her confession, the way her presence filled a room. The campaign neared its deadline, and the pressure mounted. They spent every waking hour together, their lives blurring into late-night brainstorming sessions and early morning coffee runs. Emma found herself softening, her walls crumbling against her will. Lily was different now, kind, thoughtful, her ambition tempered by a quiet humility. But Emma couldn't forget the past, couldn't trust that this Lily was real. Then came the night that changed everything. They were in the office finalizing the campaign, when Lily reached for a file and her hand brushed Emma's. It was a fleeting touch, but it sent a jolt through Emma, a warmth she hadn't felt in years. She pulled back, her cheeks flushing, and Lily's eyes widened as if she'd felt it too. "I'm sorry," Lily said quickly, but she didn't look away. The air crackled and Emma's heart raced, torn between fear and something she didn't dare name. She stood, grabbing her coat. "I need air," she muttered, fleeing to the rooftop, where the city sprawled below, alive and unforgiving. Lily followed, her footsteps soft on the gravel. "Emma, wait," she called, her voice gentle. "I don't want to hurt you again. I need you to know I'm not that person anymore." Emma turned, the wind whipping her hair. "Then who are you, Lily?" she demanded, her voice breaking. "Because I don't know how to trust you." Lily stepped closer, her eyes searching Emma's. "I'm someone who sees you," she said. "Someone who wishes she could take back every word, every moment she stole from you. I'm someone who cares about you." The words hit Emma like a wave, crashing through her defenses. She wanted to run, to hide, but she stood frozen, caught in Lily's gaze. The city hummed below, but up here it was just them, two women carrying the weight of their past, and the fragile hope of something new. The rooftop air was cool, the Chicago skyline a mosaic of light and shadow that mirrored Emma's heart. Lily stood a few feet away, her breath visible in the night, her words still echoing. "I care about you." Emma's pulse raced, her mind a battlefield of doubt and longing. She wanted to believe Lily, to trust the sincerity in her eyes, but the scars of high school were carved deep, and trust was a luxury Emma couldn't afford. "I don't know what you want from me," Emma said, her voice trembling. She crossed her arms, a shield against the vulnerability threatening to spill out. "You can't just say you're sorry and expect everything to be okay." Lily nodded, her expression heavy with regret. "I don't expect that. I just want a chance to show you I've changed. That I'm not the person who hurt you." She took a tentative step closer, her hands open, as if offering something fragile. "I see you, Emma. Your strength, your talent. I see you." Emma's throat tightened. No one had ever said those words to her, not like that. In high school, she'd been invisible unless she was being mocked. Even now, in her carefully rebuilt life, she kept people at a distance, her heart guarded. But Lily's words, her presence, cracked that armor, and Emma hated how much she wanted to lean into it. "I need time," Emma said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. She turned back to the city, letting the wind carry her words. Lily didn't push, didn't speak. She just stood there, a quiet promise in the silence. The campaign launch was a week away, and their days became a blur of final edits, client meetings, and sleepless nights. Emma threw herself into the work, using it as a shield against the feelings Lily stirred. But every shared glance, every accidental touch, chipped away at her resolve. Lily was relentless in her kindness, bringing Emma coffee just the way she liked it, praising her ideas in meetings, listening when Emma spoke. It was disarming, and Emma found herself laughing more, her guarded smile softening into something real. One afternoon, as they reviewed mock-ups in a sunlit conference room, Lily shared a piece of her own past. "My parents were strict," she said, her voice casual but her eyes distant. "Church every Sunday, no questions allowed. I knew I was different, but I buried it. Hurting you. It was my way of hiding from myself." Emma paused, her pen still. "Why me?" she asked, the question she'd carried for a decade. "Why not someone else?" Lily's gaze dropped to the table, her fingers tracing the edge of a sketch. "You were brave," she said. "You didn't flaunt it, but you didn't hide who you were either. I saw it in the way you carried yourself, the way you wrote those poems you thought no one read. I was jealous. And scared. So I lashed out." Emma's chest ached, the memory of her high school poetry notebook flooding back. She'd thought it was private, her safe space, but Lily had seen it. The violation stung, but so did the realization that Lily had been watching her, even then. "You read my poems?" Emma asked, her voice soft. Lily nodded, a faint smile tugging at her lips. "They were beautiful. They still are, aren't they? I saw one in a literary magazine last year. Your name was on it." Emma blushed, caught off guard. She'd published a few poems under a pseudonym, a quiet rebellion against her fear of being seen. That Lily had found them, had recognized her voice, felt intimate in a way that made her heart race. "You're stalking me now?" she teased, trying to lighten the moment. Lily laughed, the sound warm and unguarded. "Maybe a little. I wanted to know what happened to you. I hoped you were okay." The confession hung between them, a bridge over the chasm of their past. Emma didn't know how to cross it, but she felt the pull, the possibility of something more. The campaign launch loomed, and with it, the end of their forced partnership. Emma wasn't sure what scared her more, losing Lily or letting her in. The night of the launch arrived, a glittering event in a downtown hotel. Emma wore a tailored blazer, her auburn hair swept back, her nerves masked by a practiced smile. Lily was stunning in a navy dress, her confidence tempered by a quiet nervousness Emma hadn't seen before. Their campaign was a hit, the clients' applause ringing in their ears, but Emma barely heard it. Her eyes kept finding Lily, her heart a tangle of fear and hope. After the speeches, they slipped onto a balcony, the city humming below. Lily handed Emma a glass of wine, their fingers brushing. "We did it," Lily said, her voice soft. "You were incredible." "So were you," Emma admitted, her guard slipping. She took a sip, the wine warm on her tongue. "I didn't think we'd get here. Not after everything." Lily's eyes softened. "I didn't either. But I'm glad we did." She paused, her voice dropping. "Emma, I don't want this to end. Us working together, being whatever this is." Emma's heart stopped. She wanted to run, to protect herself, but Lily's gaze held her steady and sure. "I'm scared," Emma whispered, the truth spilling out. "You hurt me so much. How do I know you won't again?" Lily stepped closer, her hand hovering near Emma's. "You don't," she said honestly. "But I'll spend every day proving you can trust me. If you'll let me." The city lights blurred as Emma's eyes filled with tears. She saw the girl who'd hurt her, but she also saw the woman standing before her, flawed and earnest, offering a chance at something new. Emma didn't have answers, but for the first time she wanted to find them. The weeks after the campaign launch were a delicate dance. Emma and Lily continued working together, their firms merging projects under the client's insistence. But now every meeting, every late-night email, carried a new weight of possibility Emma both craved and feared. She caught herself watching Lily, noticing the way her eyes lit up when she spoke passionately, the way her hand lingered when passing a file. It was dangerous, this pull, and Emma fought it even as she leaned into it. They started meeting outside the office, first for coffee, then for walks along the Chicago River. Lily shared more of her story, her coming out to her family, the years of guilt that followed her high school cruelty. "I thought I could outrun it," she told Emma one evening, the water reflecting the city's lights. "But you can't outrun yourself." Emma listened, her heart softening with each confession. She shared her own truths, her poetry, her loneliness, the way she'd rebuilt herself from the ashes of high school. Lily listened, her presence a quiet anchor, and Emma began to see her not as the bully, but as someone who'd been broken too in her own way. One night after a long day they ended up at a small jazz club, the music weaving around them like a spell. Lily reached for Emma's hand under the table, her touch tentative. Emma didn't pull away. The warmth of Lily's fingers felt like a promise, and for the first time, Emma let herself believe it might be real. "I'm falling for you," Lily said later, as they stood outside the club, the night air cool against their skin. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were vulnerable, searching Emma's for a response. Emma's heart raced, fear and longing warring within her. "I'm scared," she admitted, her voice barely audible. "But I feel it too." They kissed under a streetlight, soft and hesitant, the world fading around them. It was a beginning, fragile but real, and Emma felt her past loosen its grip, just a little. They started dating, their relationship a quiet bloom amidst the chaos of their careers. Lily was patient, letting Emma set the pace, and Emma found herself opening up, her laughter freer, her poetry brighter. But the past wasn't gone. One evening Emma found an old high school photo in a box, her 16-year-old self staring back, eyes haunted. The memories flooded in the slurs, the laughter, Lily's voice leading the charge. She sat on her couch, the photo trembling in her hands, doubt creeping in. Could she really trust Lily? Could love grow from such pain? Lily noticed the change, the way Emma grew distant. "What's wrong?" she asked one night, as they sat in Emma's apartment, the city humming outside. Emma hesitated, then showed her the photo, her voice shaking as she spoke. "This is who I was because of you. I don't know if I can forget that." Lily's face crumpled, but she didn't look away. "I hate that I did that to you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "I can't change it, but I can be here now. I can love you now." The word love hit Emma like a wave. She wanted to believe it, wanted to let go, but fear held her back. "I need time," she said, echoing her words from the rooftop. Lily nodded, her eyes filled with a quiet resolve, and Emma felt a spark of hope, small but stubborn. Their relationship grew, tentative but steady, built on late-night talks and shared dreams. They started planning a new venture together, a marketing agency of their own, a dream that felt like a leap of faith. Emma poured her heart into it, her poetry weaving into their pitches, her vision shaping their brand. Lily was her partner in every sense, her ambition tempered by a tenderness that surprised Emma every day. But doubt lingered, a shadow Emma couldn't shake. One night at a networking event, she overheard a colleague mention Lily's past, her reputation in high school, the rumors that followed her. It was a reminder of the girl Lily had been, and Emma's heart clenched, the old wounds aching. She left early, her mind spinning, and Lily found her later, sitting by the river, her eyes distant. "Talk to me," Lily said, sitting beside her. "Please." Emma took a deep breath, the words spilling out. "I'm trying so hard to trust you, but sometimes I see her, the girl who broke me. And I'm scared she's still in there." Lily's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't flinch. "She's not," she said fiercely. "I've spent years becoming someone else, someone who loves you, who sees you. But I know I have to earn your trust every day." Emma looked at her, the city lights reflecting in Lily's eyes, and felt the truth of her words. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a choice to move forward to build something new. They held hands, the river flowing beside them, and Emma felt the first stirrings of peace, a fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, they could heal together. The launch of their agency was a whirlwind, a testament to their shared vision and relentless drive. Emma and Lily stood side by side at the opening event, their office a sleek space in Chicago's Loop, filled with clients, colleagues, and the hum of possibility. Emma's poetry was woven into their brand, her words a quiet heartbeat beneath their campaigns. Lily's charisma lit up the room, her confidence tempered by a warmth that made Emma's heart ache with pride. They were partners in business and in life, their love a fragile bridge over a turbulent past. But healing wasn't linear. Some nights Emma woke from nightmares of high school hallways, Lily's voice echoing with old cruelties. She'd lie awake watching Lily sleep, her face soft in the moonlight, and wonder if she could ever fully let go. Lily sensed it, her apologies now wordless, a hand on Emma's back, a quiet moment of understanding. She didn't push, didn't demand forgiveness, and that patience became the foundation of Emma's trust. One spring evening, a year after their agency's launch, Emma found a letter tucked into her poetry notebook. It was from Lily, her handwriting careful, deliberate. "Emma," it began, "I'll never know the full weight of the pain I caused you, but I promise to spend my life making it up to you. You're my home, my reason, my everything. I love you." Enclosed was a small key, engraved with a single word, "Forever." Emma's eyes filled with tears, her heart full in a way she'd never thought possible. She found Lily on their balcony, the city sprawling below, and held up the key. "What's this?" she asked, her voice trembling with emotion. Lily smiled, her eyes bright. "It's to our future. Whatever you want it to be." Emma stepped closer, her fears quieter now, drowned out by the love she felt. "I want us," she said, her voice steady. "I want this, our work, our life, our love. I'm still scared sometimes, but I choose you." They kissed, the city a witness to their promise, and Emma felt the weight of her past lift. Not gone but lighter. A story rewritten by their shared courage. Their agency thrived, a beacon of creativity and inclusion. Their campaigns celebrating voices like Emma's, those who'd been silenced but refused to stay quiet. They hired young talent, mentored those who felt out of place, and built a space where everyone could belong. Years later, at a high school reunion in Ohio, Emma and Lily walked in hand. The gymnasium was the same, the memories sharp, but Emma was different, stronger, whole. Whispers followed them, but they were softer now, curious rather than cruel. Sarah, Emma's old crush, approached, her smile kind. "You look happy," she said, and Emma nodded, her hand tightening around Lily's. "I am," Emma said, her voice clear. She looked at Lily, her partner, her love, and saw the woman who'd fought to become someone worthy of trust. The past would always be there, a shadow in the corners, but it no longer defined them. That night, Emma wrote a poem, her words a testament to their journey. "From ashes we rise, two hearts entwined, rewriting the stars where pain once defined." She read it to Lily under the Ohio sky, the stars bright above them, and Lily kissed her, tears in her eyes. Their story wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, a testament to resilience, redemption, and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. They built a life together, not despite their past, but because of it, each day a step toward a future they'd earned together. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.